Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna show you a great and very obnoxious glitch. The dreaded Pontiff Sullivan's Wall glitch. And how to perform it. But before I'm going over there and showing you exactly what needs to be done to activate the glitch, let's give you also a build. A build that is perfectly suited for that annoying little glitch. What we have as a build today is the Poison Notched Whip and a Blood Notched Whip, as well as the Storyteller Staff, a Crystal Shine, a Pyromancing Parting Flame, which could easily be the other Pyromancy Glove if you desire, and the simple Lothric War Banner plus 10. Let's go with the whips first. The glitch that I'm going to show you later is a glitch that could easily be used in different ways. The most effective way is with heavy weapons or ranged weapons. If you have heavy weapons, like let's say the Dragon Slayer Great Axe, you can also use this glitch. Or let's say the Morn's Great Hammer. If you have any of these great weapons, then you can definitely also do this glitch. It's actually quite useful using these heavy weapons. They do a lot of damage after all. But I prefer using fast weapons for this glitch that also have a bit of range. So I'm using the whips. The poison and bleed infused ones, of course. The poison one gives you 73 poison, and the one with the bleed infused gives you 76 bleed, as well as the Storyteller Staff. The reason I'm using these instead of a regular whip is because of the status effect it inflicts the person. If you use a poison whip, in my case, I have luck upgraded to 94, and luck increases how often you inflict people with poison or the bleed. For me, if I'm not mistaken, 60 luck makes it so that you have to hit a person like 5 times with this whip if it has bleed or poison infused, and that instantly gives, after the 5th hit, the person their bleed or poison. If you use a poison gem infused whip or the bleed infused whip. You can also see with the poison infused whip, it also gives you a bit of bleed, but that bleed is irrelevant. You should only use that for the poison, not for the bleed. The bleed whip is right there for that moment when you have a person poisoned already. The Storyteller Staff is also equipped right over here for the same reason as the Poison Whip. It will help to increase the poison a bit faster than the poison infused whip. The reason that I have it is not simply to make it faster also. The Storyteller Staff does way more poison damage than a poison infused weapon. And you will see that once you use the glitch. It does like significant more damage than a normal poison infliction. So if you have the poison whip and you hit a person 4 times and then uses this Storyteller Staff, then the person will get not only poisoned the next time they're in that cloud or getting close to the cloud, but they are also getting more poison damage because the Storyteller Staff, as I said before, gives you way more poison damage than a regular poison infliction, like from the Poison Whip or any other poison infused weapon. So keep that in mind. If you use the staff, you can use poison a lot faster if you inflicted a person a bit with the Poison Whip before. But why would you want to have poison in this glitch, you might ask? Well, the answer is quite easy. You're gonna whip a person a couple of times, but when you whip them, they can still heal. Or they use something that is in the end making sure that they cannot get hit. They have to follow the rules to hit you, and they can only try to counter you when you are in this glitch. So why not make it so that if you hit them, and they're getting away from the glitch themselves, that they're still inflicted with a status effect like poison. So that's why I made a poison whip, so that in the case that they don't want to fight, or in the case that they do, they will get more damage than simply the whip damage. So that's why I have a poisoned one, in case they're going far away from the glitch. They don't have to do that, but if they don't go away from the glitch, where you're going to be in, by the way, then it is perfect, because if you infuse it with poison, they will eventually get poisoned by the whip or by the storyteller staff, and once they're poisoned, it's time for the blood version of the whip. You have to hit a person like 5 times also, but keep in mind, the poison whip already has a bit of bleed in it. After you hit a person enough times, and they have actually the poison effect, you must keep in mind that the bleed bar is also a bit up, but not enough to the point that you are going to inflict the bleed on them eventually. So that's why you have the bleed infused one, so that you can help that second bar that they have to go up a lot faster. So you inflict bleed and poison on that same individual, which will do a lot of damage if the storyteller staff's poison has been inflicted on the victim. Normal poison is also okay, but the storyteller staff's poison is way better. The reason that I have a simple gem war banner is the war banner is giving you a temporary buff, increased damage basically, and that buff will stay like a minute or two until it wears off. In that time, you also are getting FP regeneration. That's why I have it infused. But I will say it right now, it's better to have 2 weapons infused with the simple gem and making them your weapons, of course, so that you can have FP regeneration slowly over time. You can, of course, also get more FP Estus, Ashen Estus, of course, if you want to, but you also need to keep in mind that you need to heal since you're fighting invaders. So you can also choose to have an FP regeneration, or simply having a bit more FP. But you have to always keep in mind that you need to have at least some sort of healing left. You can also use, if you have it, the Ashen Estus, which increases the FP restoration for your Estus, or at least for your Ashen Estus. So you can always use that if you want to. But I rather go for the FP regeneration that slowly happens by having 2 weapons that have both FP regeneration because of the simple gem infusion. Anyway, let's go for any other weapon. As I said, you could use heavy weapons. They are very effective, but they are way more effective if you use a specific spell with it. And that spell is why I have the Crystal Shine. You can use pyromancies, but some spells from sorcery or miracles are way more effective combined with a heavy weapon. Let's go to one of these examples. If you have Pestilent Mist, which by the way you can acquire by finding the NPC that sells sorcery and doing his quest line, not completely, but finding some of the scrolls that he wants, he gives you eventually the option to buy this from him. And that, combined with a heavy R2 from a heavy weapon, is most of the time one-shotting even people that have Tears of the Nile on their character. So it is going to be very useful if you use a heavy weapon and inflict a lot of damage while this thing is also been shot in their face when you're in this glitch. I also have Tears of the Nile just to make myself a bit more safer in that glitch, because if you're getting hit by multiple people, you will get multiple times hit, and to make sure that that last hit doesn't kill you, I have Tears of the Nile on. Shooting Sunlight, self-explanatory, a giant healing. Warmth. It is also a spell that you could use for healing, but I most of the time use this to troll people or to help people out that actually want to help me kill some invaders. So you don't have to have this, but it is nice to fool people around so that they think or know where you are when you are actually not over there, and then you just poison them easily because they're stand way too close into that. And as I said, storyteller staff does way more poison damage, so even if they're in the warmth, it doesn't matter, because if they do, and you inflict them with poison but they don't go away, you have the toxic mist. This is perfect for people that throw shit at you for going into that glitch, so that you can inflict the toxic mist a little bit closer, or even better, to these individuals. But combined with the storyteller's poison, toxic mist, combined with that poison from the storyteller's staff, is ruthless. Do not underestimate the power that those two status effects can give you if both are inflicted to you. A person that has full health will eventually lose all of his health because of these two. And it is fast. Really, really fast. If you see how much damage that does, you must immediately cure it. Believe me, it's not instant killing you in 5 seconds fast, but if you do not get it off of you, you will in the end see why it is so deadly. It is faster than normal poison or toxic, and that what makes it really deadly. Believe me, toxic mist and the storyteller staff poison is simply ridiculous. Acid surge. This thing, you might say, is useless to use. But for people that are trying to go into the warmth, and you're going to give them poison and toxic, why not just try to destroy their armor too? Simply because you're in a glitch, which in the end, you make the rules. People have to try to counter you, so while they're trying to do that, why not try to destroy their equipment a little bit if they're too close? It's not going to be as good as it was before it was patched, but in time, which by the way, this will be literally like a time battle, you will basically, if you're lucky, eventually destroy maybe some of their armor and weapons, which is what you really want, but you should not try to do. Just to try to annoy people is good enough with it. Also, snap freeze. This thing is not used a lot, but if you like to poison, toxic a person, and then add some freeze on their character to only bleed them, then, well, why would you not want to have it? I would love to do it once, that I have all these status effects inflicted on one individual. It will not do a lot of damage, but if poison and toxic is inflicted, as well as bleed and this, well, I think if you have all of these on your character, you're close to death anyway, and then the poison and toxic will definitely finish you off. So, it will definitely be helpful, but I don't use it often. But it is nice to use it whenever I desire. Repair. Since you have infinite FP by having 2 simple gem infused weapons, which by the way takes 5 minutes or more to actually get all your FP back, simply because it is that that slow, you are going to eventually need to repair your whips. So if you have FP regeneration, even it's ridiculously slow, you can always repair it without using one of these little golden fellas over here. The repair powder can only be used 20 times before you don't have any of it anymore, unless you go to a bonfire and restore it, which that's why we have this little thing on that we can use with our infinite FP regeneration from our simple gem infused weapons. Chaos Bat Vestige. It is in this glitch that you don't need it. You really don't need it. You can use it if you want to, but the reason that I have it equipped is in this glitch, and I'm gonna show you just in a few seconds, there are going to be people that are going to be above you eventually. They are not going to happen a lot, but there might be a chance that a person is staying above you. So you can throw bombs at them in the glitch, but to be more effective, I wanted to use a giant fireball AoE. So the Chaos Bat Vestige is going to be your friend in that, but it will not be so easy if you think it is. You cannot lock on people when you're in this glitch, so you have to guess where they are and try to aim perfectly with this in order to hit them. As well as for any other of these spells, except, of course, the Repair and the Tears of the Nile, as well as the Shooting Sunlight, but that's the only thing that you have to make sure of it. Wrath of the Gods. Well, it is not as useful as you think it is, but it still damages the people, so you can use it if you want to. But I am going to change it into this little thing over here. I never used it, but if I'm not mistaken, cures bleeding, poison, and frost for self and those in the vicinity. So this thing is basically making sure that you cannot get bleed, frostbitten, or poisoned. You can get toxic though, so it will not be useful for that, but that's why we have the other things on, right? Okay, let me see. What else could we use to annoy people? Oh, well, let's use this thing. Because you're going to be behind a wall, which in the end you can hit the wall, but people are behind the wall as well as you. I mean, you're behind the wall and people aren't, so you can still hit people if they get too close to the wall and steal a bit of their health, which is okay and great. This Divine Pillars of Light, as well as the Chaos Storm or Firestorm, I do not recommend you using them. As well as the Soul Stream or the White Dragon Breath. Because in the end, the wall is preventing them to deal the damage that they should. The Chaos Storm, as well as the Firestorm, as well as the Divine Spear of Light, they can inflict damage on people, but it is way too random to consistently hit a person when you're behind the wall. It can happen, but they have to be close to the wall, or just to be lucky to be under one of these. So, I don't recommend them, to be honest. Well, that's alright, that's everything. Let us begin with our journey to annoy people. Oh, before I'm doing that, let's upgrade ourselves a little bit faster. I almost reached 99 with everything. 2 more levels. It's good to know that I almost succeeded what I wanted to obtain, but it's a bit sad also. Once I have had my final levels, I will never be able to upgrade myself ever again. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. But I have no regret. Okay, let's see. Seed of Giant Tree. I'm gonna get this thing simply because of, for one reason. You're going to be stuck behind a wall after all. So if people are not going into the wall but close to the enemies, use the enemies with this little seed of the giant tree, and the enemies will working for you and killing the invaders. So this is gonna be great if people are trying to go to the knights, to the giants, to anything. Except it won't work. For the invaders to kill you, basically. Also, by the way, killed myself right now. Simply because then I can safely go into Pontiff's area without having any invaders spawned into my world. So let's us begin doing the glitch, after I got my souls, of course. Okay, I got them. Let us do this. By the way, what I'm gonna do right now, you can do it without a shield, but I recommend you use the shield so you can block most of this guy's damage, as well as making him do his multi-stomp attack, which you need in order to get inside of the glitch. It is really easy to get inside of this glitch, by the way. It's not even a difficult thing to do, you just have to time it right, which is not a problem. Okay, I'm gonna use a weapon that can hit his head eventually a bit faster. Okay, let's do this. Oh yeah, wait, I have to change one more thing. I'm gonna use the Havel Shield, simply because it destroys the possibility of me getting hurt if I'm behind the shield. Like this. Okay, let's do this. Wake up, Mr. Giant. We are going to need your assistance to get inside of a wall. You're taking your time now, don't you? Get over here, you slow bastard. There we go. Okay, that was not the attack that you needed to do. Good. Do it again. That's the attack that we want, Tim. Well, I almost succeeded. But he has to be in a right line. A straight line, basically, with his head. Then I can instantly perform the glitch perfectly. But that's the idea. Wait for him to do that attack, try to go to his head, press R1, and you instantly teleport, if done successfully in that animation, which in the end, since the guy's head is in the wall, you will teleport inside of the wall, and then you are in the glitch. Yeah, your head is still too close to that, so I'm not doing it. Come on, Giant, I know you can do it. He missed. He missed again? Okay. Okay, this Giant is just playing with me now. Okay, Giant, get closer. There we are! And that's how you get inside of the wall. And this is what you need to do to get inside of to be in the glitch, basically. As I said, since people will go above you and can spawn above you, if you want to do this with people that are going to invade, you can. You just use your Chaos Vestige, and there you go. If people are over there, you instantly hit them. But again, as I said, you cannot lock on in this glitch. You have to do everything locked off. So keep that in mind. Sorry, keep that in mind. Well, that's everything you need to do. As well, I'm going to show you right now. As you see, Snap Freeze looks like it bypasses that, but in fact, it's actually hitting this part of the wall. So keep that in mind. Pestilent Mist cannot bypass the wall. It will hit the wall even if you're this close to it. So keep that in mind, that you do not stand that close to it, because you will take that damage and it will definitely be a hindrance. As well as the light hunt, the light hunt side. It can bypass the wall, so you can easily hit people when they're that close to the wall. As well as the warmth can go just inside of the wall, basically. They can see from the outside as well as from the inside. Toxic Mist, as well as Acid Surge, they bypass the wall completely. They're like in the middle of that pillar, basically, and how far they go. As well as the Storyteller Staff's weapon art also goes out of there to the point of the middle of that pillar over there. So basically that's how far it goes. And for the rest, you know the deal. Now let's go for the whips. I recommend you use the R2 since it has a long range. If people are using whips against you, then just stand over here, just outside of it, and then use your R2s when they're getting close to the wall. You can always hit them. They cannot hurt you. As long as you go back after you performed your R2, then they can never hit you when they're close to the wall. The only counter to this glitch is if people use whips and use the weapon arts of that glitch. Of those whips. Because the weapon art of this whip goes a pretty long way. As you can see, it can go like right over here, but since I'm behind over here, it can go further than I showed you. So keep that in mind. If people use the weapon out of the whip, then you're going to be in a bit of trouble. So make sure that you're behind over here. Also, there is a death trap in this glitch, so do not fall for it. What I mean by death trap is, this glitch makes it so you can walk, well, a pretty decent amount. But there is, or are, a couple of parts of this glitch that, if ignored, will make it so that you can die by falling through the world, basically. So, to prevent that from happening, you use the prison stones. You see? Do not walk over there, because you will fall through everything. As well as over here. You are going to die if you do so. Also, this glitch has invisible walls right over here. That is not an invisible wall. That is. There it is. So this is an invisible wall. Keep that in mind, that it has this amount of space in this glitch. And this is the only invisible wall that you can interact with. Do not go over here also, because this is also a death trap. So make sure you put a prison stone over there, so you know, do not go over there. This prison stone is just to show the wall, of course. That one is to show, do not go right over there, because you will fall through the world. And this one, we cannot place it, if I'm not mistaken. Let's try. Ah, we can. Okay. There's a prison stone right over there. We can just show ourselves to not bypass where the prison stone is, so that we do not fall right over there. So the only way people can kill you is if they use whips, or if you accidentally fall in the death traps right over here, that makes you fall into the world, I mean outside of the world, and then to your death. If you die, by the way, you will not respawn back over here, but you will respawn back to the bonfire, so your souls are going to be behind this wall. So you have to perform the glitch again in order to get your souls back. But that's not going to be a problem as long as you are not embedded. As for the war banner, as I said before, this thing will slowly regenerate your FP back if you have two weapons. I prefer to use the war banner and a simple cock Kestis, I think it's called that way, I could be mistaken. Have these two things equipped and you will get 2 FP regenerated every second basically. But it will take some time, like 5 minutes, so make sure that if you're regenerating your FP, just stay right over here and just watch something on your phone. And then when you're done with the video, like watching a YouTube video, check on your FP, it might be all the way back up from the meter. That's are my tips. Also, by the way, if you have a person that also performs this glitch, you can summon them if they put their sign down here. Make sure it's not an invader summoning sign, because then you can both fight in this place, which is not what the glitch is for. And the last thing that I have to explain about this glitch, there is also one more weapon that can be a very big problem if you encounter it when you use this glitch. And that weapon is... where is it? Oh, there it is. The Tailbone Spear. The Tailbone Spear has a weapon art that can blow a pretty far distance. I'm sorry, I just made a terrible mistake. There you go. That weapon art is also to the middle of that pillar and how far it goes. So if you're behind this glitch, or behind this wall basically, and in the glitch, then it can bypass going over here. It can go like this far where I'm standing, so make sure you are going all the way over here to the wall and you're completely safe. People can also try to do it upstairs over there, but as you can see, there is a wall preventing them to go any further, but they might, and I say it again, they might be able to use the tailbone weapon in order to use the weapon art over there to hit you over here. But the chance of them doing that is small. But do not underestimate that they could, or maybe can, do this. But this is the only way to counter the glitch. But the only problem with countering this glitch is there is a wall that prevents them from seeing where you are. Right over here, they cannot see where you are. They can only see the weapon sticking out of it, but the rest is all speculation and trying to hit you, basically. So you have a huge advantage to inflict poison, toxic, acid, snap freeze, pestilent mist, and chaos bat vestige if they're upstairs. You can also use them over here if they're too close to the wall, but I prefer only to use the chaos bat vestige if they are over there. Since the walls, if they're being just a bit annoying, you can just throw bombs at them, which they can also do to you, but the wall, you have to be close to the wall in order to get hit, and you will not do that when multiple people are trying to hit the wall, so you are going to be completely safe. Well, that's everything that the glitch is showing you, basically. Everything, everywhere you can go, every weapon I recommend you use when you're behind the glitch. You can summon another person right over here in the glitch if you prefer to have a more annoying advantage with hosts against invaders, with summons helping the host. You can have two people put their summon sign over here and then ask them to help you in the glitch. Well, all three of you are behind this glitch, and you can all fight against the host and their summons behind over here. But, as I said, I recommend you have at least 2 simple infused weapons so that you can always regenerate your FP, which will take us some time. I know it's a very garbage. They patched the glitch, which makes it way easier to get FP regeneration faster, but it is recommended so that you can always use your spells eventually. And that you have at least a long-range weapon as well as a heavy weapon. You can, of course, use a heavy weapon if you desire, but as I said, you should use the R2, which bypasses the wall, but you sometimes will hit the wall like that, so keep that in mind. You have to time it perfectly and stand perfectly to hit people when they're behind there, but they have to be close to the wall. That's the only thing you have to take care of. Anyway, I'm going to show one more thing before I end the video. Use the R2 combined with Pestilent Mist, and you destroy people ridiculously easy. But you must keep this in mind. People will definitely try to hit you when you're trying to hit them in the Pestilent Mist, so don't be fooled. Time it when people are done doing their own R2s against you, when they're in the Pestilent Mist, and you do that, and you hit them with the full R2, they are basically next to dying, and the Pestilent Mist, if they're inside of it while you did that, well, let's say that Tears of the Nile will not always save them. So, that's everything that needs to be done with the glitch, and what you should have as a weapon. I recommend, if you're using a heavy weapon, that you use the Dragon Slayer Great Axe because of its weapon art. If you put a person on the ground, I'm gonna show it right now. Like that, and instantly use the weapon art. Sometimes you still catch people by surprise with the weapon art's big AoE, and that could sometimes one-shot people. I recommend you use this weapon for the glitch, which you obtain easily by killing the Dragon Slayer armor and giving his soul to the guy on that chair in the Firelink Shrine, which is one of the lords. After you defeat the Cursed Gods in Greatwood, you give his soul to that little guy on his throne, and then he gives you the option to get boss weapons. So after you give them that soul and defeated the Dragon Slayer armor, get his weapon and then use this glitch. Well, that's everything, man. I hope you people enjoyed it and enjoy annoying some people online with this glitch, since it will never be patched from this game ever again. And this is a great counter to those annoying insta-kill bow glitch people. Have fun with it, man, and I see you next time.